Hi, thanks for joining us. Happy Monday. We're starting. I'm Elizabeth, a founder of Do the Good Stuff, and you're in the Do the Good Stuff office. And we're starting our week with our friend Allison right here, who's going to lead Samantha and me and you in some yoga stretching. Before we get started, if you're joining us live, take a second to get ready. We're going to start in just a few minutes. But also, if you have a second to comment and say that you're joining us, we'd love to know. Also, if you watch the recording later and you do the workout, let us know what you think. Add a comment. So Allison is going to lead us in some stretches. But before we get started, also for you to know that because we can't be with you in person, we're not your doctor. So make sure that you're all ready to go and that you're feeling good before you get started. All right, cool. Here we go.
All right, well, welcome. Glad you're here with us, whether you're live right now or you're watching this recording. Just quickly, you might want to grab a blanket, or if you have a block, not necessary, but it might be helpful for you. So just thought maybe you could grab that now if you might need it. So I know a lot of you who follow Do the Good Stuff are working individuals. So maybe you have a desk job you're sitting at all day long, hunched over on the computer, driving a lot. I know a lot of us, we're kind of addicted to our phones, and so there's a lot of this going on. So I kind of thought this first yoga class would be more just some things you can do to counteract all that hunching over, the strain in our neck, in our back, hips from sitting. So as well as I'll kind of incorporate, just because within yoga it's not always just about the body, it's very integrated, so also just how to relieve some stress. So this can be done middle of the day if you're at the office and you just need to take a break, or at the end of the day, at night, before bed, just kind of moving through some of this just to kind of unwind. So this can be done all different times of the day, but we'll start in the morning just to set you off. So the first thing we'll do is just a seated neck stretch. So you can just come to a simple seated, whether you want to sit on your shins, or you can come just cross at the shins here or at your ankles. And you want to just find yourself sitting up tall. So that's just one way we want to work our posture. The crown of the head is reaching up towards the ceiling. And you just want to feel the length of your spine here. So we're just set up before we get started. And you want to start to draw the navel in towards the spine, so your ribs are really knitting in here. And then notice your shoulders, if they're kind of hunching up. Can you just soften them down and start to draw the shoulder blades together behind you? And so maybe just taking a moment just to feel your breath here. Start to feel the breath moving from the belly all the way up through the ribs, the chest. So feeling it expand, and then as you exhale, maybe you just feel yourself melting back down onto your mat. Just taking a few full breaths here. Maybe it's even counting for a count of 3 or 4 as you inhale, and then exhaling for a count of 3 or 4. We want to start to even out our breath. Again, so we say in yoga, you're not doing yoga if you're not breathing. The breath is so valuable. And so that'll even help calm you down as you're at work. If there's just a lot of stress going on, just even sitting and breathing is super helpful. So from here, we'll start to just drop the right ear to the right shoulder, and then slowly let the chin draw to the chest, and then roll left ear, left shoulder, and just pause. And then as you exhale, drop the chin to the chest, and just taking a few gentle rolls back and forth. But again, we want to keep the spine lifted. Notice if you start to drop and round the low back, we want to keep it lifted as we just draw the ear from side to side. Taking full breaths in, maybe while the ear is at the shoulder, and as you exhale is when you start to round down, and then inhale up. So if there's at any point where it feels good just to hold it, maybe just hold in that space and just take a few breaths there. So we move with slow intention, just to be aware, what's our body feeling, what are we holding? So maybe just take a couple more like that, maybe eyes are closed, just setting your intention for your day. Find one more cycle and then come back to neutral. Then another thing you can do is we'll reach the right hand out to the right and then drop the left ear to the left shoulder. Again, find yourself sitting tall and then drop the shoulders gently down. And maybe you stay here if that feels like enough of a straight side of your head, and just gently draw the ear a little more. We don't force anything, it's just this gentle movement if you need a deeper stretch. Now let's take 5 full breaths here. One more full cycle of breath. And then as you exhale, release that down. Maybe just make a few shoulder rolls. And then we'll switch sides. Bring the left fingertips out to the left. Drop the right ear to the right shoulder. And just check in. Maybe this side feels a little tighter. Either stay here or take that right hand to the outside of the left side of your head. Gently draw that down. Keep the skull drawing back slightly, so we don't want the chin to drop down. And again, find a few full cycles of breath here, kind of just letting this space in the left side of your neck really open up. Release whatever you might be holding there. Breathe into that tension. Notice how your breath might start to calm your mind, ease some of the thoughts racing. And then on your next exhale, gently release. So we'll come into butterfly. Just again, if we sit a lot, our hips might feel really tight, so we just want to give them some space to open up, get a little flexible. So we'll bring the soles of the feet together. And your heels are somewhat close to your body. Just kind of move around, notice what feels right to you. And we'll take the hands either to the ankles, or you can wrap them around the feet, or almost take your thumbs into your feet and open them up like a book. So kind of just play with that, notice what feels good to you. And again, we find ourselves sitting tall here, shoulders drawing down. So it's almost like we want the shoulders to draw open so that a collarbone spreads wide. The heart is what's opening forward here. And then notice if you're just splaying the ribs out, can you draw them back in? Sitting up tall here, if this feels good, stay here. Maybe you want to just start walking it forward, and once you find this edge of resistance, you can drop the chin towards the chest. Maybe that looks like folding all the way down, but again, we want the heart to be leading forward so that we keep the spine long. Reach from the crown of the head, and then draw the chin to the chest. And then again, staying connected to that deep breathing. Maybe if your mind wanders, we just come back to counting the inhales and the exhales. Just taking 2 more full cycles of breath. And then on your next inhale, start to walk yourself forward again. You can bring the knees together, and we'll just find our way into all fours. So we want to bring the shoulders just over the wrists, hips come over your knees. So I'll just kind of give you a side. That's pretty self-explanatory, but just in case, here you go. So we want the crown of the head reaching out towards your screen here. And engage your navel in towards your spine. So really draw the navel in, engage the core. And then we're going to move through this thing, cat-cow. If you've done yoga, you've probably done this before. It's just something that helps open the back and massages our spine from sitting for a while. So as you inhale, you're going to lift the gaze, lift the heart up, let the tailbone reach up and the belly drops down. Just hold that for a moment. Root down into the hands. And then find this lifting up from the arms. We really inhale, and you hold at the top of the breath just for a moment. As you're starting to exhale, the tailbone is what starts drawing down towards the heels. Press the hands down into the mat. Chin comes towards the chest, and we round the upper back, exposing the back of the heart. On your inhale, lift the gaze, drop the belly, lift the tailbone, inhale. Exhale to round. So start to find a rhythm of your own breath, maybe taking about 4 or 5 more cat and cows. There's no need to move through this fast. Really take time to feel, to notice how the back feels. Really stretching it out, opening it up, letting the breath kind of break up the tension. Finding one more full cycle of breath here, and then just come back to a neutral tabletop. So then from here, we'll move into downward facing dog, which that will kind of start to strengthen and lengthen the muscles of your back. It releases tension in your shoulders, and it helps the neck to relax. And so I'll kind of talk you through a proper downward dog. So from here in table, start to walk your hands forward from your shoulders. Curl your toes underneath you, and then lift the hips up high. And so I'll talk it through, and then I'll show it to you from a side angle. So from here, you want to have your fingers spread wide. Give yourself a strong foundation to work with. And then you want to mainly press into the pointer, thumb, and then the palm. So you kind of find this slight cupping of the wrist. Maybe some of you have talked about having wrist issues with down dog. So find this slight cupping. So there's just little space right underneath the palm, and then start to push the mat away from you. Feel the head just get heavy. We don't want to hold the neck, so let the neck just get gently nod yes or no. And then find your shoulder blades wrapping away from your spine. So you want to start to feel like the shoulders are getting taut, the skin between the shoulder blades are getting taut. And then from here, I want everyone to take a deep bend in their knees, but then keep lifting your hips up high. So there's that deep bend, hips are still lifting, wanting to be the highest point. Really melt the heart towards the thighs. Press into the hands and find this lengthening with the arms. And then as you exhale, I want you to just keep the upper body as it is and slowly work towards straightening your legs. There can still be a slight bend in them, but we want to really just breathe here. Take a full deep breath in through the nose. And maybe just exhale, open mouth, sigh it out. 2 more like that, full breath in. There you go, yeah, exhale it out. One more full breath in. Exhale it out. And then you can come, let's come down on our knees for a moment. Just give yourselves a break. If you aren't used to holding down dog for a while, it is not necessarily, it doesn't feel like a resting pose, but after time it does start to get there, I promise. So yeah, that just kind of helps release a lot of stuff. But from there, to counteract, you can come down. We'll take a child's pose, so let the knees come wide, let the toes come together, and you just start to walk forward, letting the chest and the belly drop down. If that doesn't feel good, you can also, another variation would be to have the thighs coming together and walk forward, or you can also do what we call puppy pose, where the hips are not touching the heels, they're lifted. So play around and feel what feels good to you. The arms can be reaching out in front, or you can reach back and let the hands come towards the heels if your shoulders feel tired. And so child's pose is just this place where we get to turn inward and kind of come back to our breath. Notice just where our thoughts are going. It's a really restorative, kind of relaxed pose, but also is working the hips. So just kind of taking a moment to breathe fully here. Maybe taking a breath in the nose. And then just kind of sighing it out, like feeling the breath hit the mat. Just 2 more breaths here. Again, I'm just wanting to give you little snippets of postures you can do throughout your day just to move your body around and release the tension that we kind of carry. So as you inhale, start to walk yourself back to table. So I want to show you one more hip opener here, and I'll give you a couple variations because I know since I'm not there to kind of help you. I want you, with yoga, we never want to feel pain. So if anything is painful, we stop. If it's uncomfortable, that's a good space to be. It's a hard space, but it's good. So with Pigeon, we want to come from table. You can just start to bring your right knee forward and let your left leg, I'll come to this side, let the left leg go straight back. You want to look back that your left toes are pointing directly behind you. Heels in line with hip. If your hips are really tight, you want to have your heel moving in towards your groin. But if you feel pretty flexible in your hips, you can start to move your shin to be parallel to the front of your mat. Bring your fingertips to your sides and we kind of lift the hips up so that we square them off to the front of the mat. We can just take a few breaths here. And instead of pinching into the low back, I keep the core engaged here. If you find yourself rolling to the side, this is where you want to bring the blanket. You can roll it up and just place it underneath that left hip so it kind of helps support. So as we exhale, we just start to walk forward. Maybe you stay up on the forearms, or you can stack the fists and rest your head on that, or stack the forearms. We'll just take a couple breaths here. And if that feels too intense, you can just come to seated, cross the right ankle over the knee. This is also a hip stretch here, and you can just maybe sway side to side. So take whatever variation feels right in your body. And the longer you sit in this kind of a posture, you want to notice where in your body you can kind of start to relax. So notice if the shoulders start to hunch up, can you just soften them down? Notice if you grip in your jaw, we can carry tension in our jaw. Can you let that relax? Just take 2 more breaths. And then as you inhale, start to just gently make your way back up. If you're in this lying pigeon, maybe just kind of gently press yourself into a down dog and shake that right leg out. And then bring that right foot down, and then we'll make our way to the left side. So we want that left knee to be just outside the left hip. Again, finding the flexibility. If you're feeling tight, keep that heel moving in towards your groin. There's a slight flex in the left foot. And then I forgot to mention this, but you don't want to be directly on your back kneecap. That might cause some pain. So just kind of lift up, get into the fleshy part just above the knee, and then let your the top of your foot come down. As you're ready, start to walk yourself forward. And we'll just take 5 breaths here. If you're taking the other very left ankle over, find yourself sitting up here. One more full breath. And then as you inhale, slowly walk yourself back up. Take that down dog, gently shake the left knee out. And then from down dog, we'll kind of start to step ourselves towards the top of our mat, coming into a forward fold. So a lot of you might be like, I can't touch the ground, and that's not the point. It's totally fine if you can't touch the ground. You can take a slight bend in your knees if you need to, and we'll just take opposite hand for opposite elbow. So it's kind of like you make a frame, and you just let your face kind of rest in that little square. And we want the neck to be completely relaxed here, so maybe it just means nodding your head yes or no. We want right alignment here would be to have the hips stacking over your heels, so gently shift your weight slightly towards the tops of your feet. And then again, if your knees are bent, maybe you work towards slightly straightening them. Draw the navel up and in towards the spine, and then feel yourself really folding from the hips. And so a forward fold is this feeling of release. It helps us to, it's just very therapeutic for stress and anxiety. So it's almost just like letting things roll off our back. I work from home and I'm at my desk a lot. This is just something that I will just take a couple minutes. I'll step aside from my work, and I just love to like melt into this posture. Another way I like to do it, instead of having the arms here, here, sometimes I like to take the arms behind the knees and then just let the head get heavy. Continue with that deep breath. And we can also add a shoulder opener here if you want to interlace the hands at the low back. I'm going to step back, maybe you can't see there. And then we let the knuckles reach up towards the ceiling. And then maybe we let them reach up and overhead. If that's too intense, if you have a strap or a tie or a belt, you can also hold that and just kind of work that there. This helps us open the shoulders. From here, let's take a bend in the right knee, a deep bend. Maybe let the right shoulder touch towards the right knee and kind of open up, looking towards the left shoulder. That left knee is slightly bent or straight. Inhale, back to both straight legs, and then exhale, deep bend in the left knee, left shoulder reaching towards the kneecap. Looking over that right shoulder. As you inhale, come back to neutral. Just gently as you exhale, let the hands come down the backs of the legs. And then we'll come to seated. And I just want to show you one last posture that you can do that's super restorative. You can take your mat and just roll it up here. Or if you have a blanket, you can roll the blanket. And so what we're going to do is we're going to actually just lay it on our back here. And just take the last, you can stay in this pose however long you have. It's a great way to end, but as we lay it here, can I just front that for a second? So you want to kind of let it be at the mid-back, and then just lay, this camera anymore, and then just lay back on it, and it allows the shoulders just to kind of open up. We do a lot of punching. And so this just feels really good to give yourself space just to keep the shoulders open, let the heart be open here. And we just kind of lay, if you want to have bent knees, if it feels comfortable to have the legs out long, just kind of play around, notice what feels good. If it feels awkward on your spine, just move it around until you have it in this position that you can just give yourself maybe a few minutes just to be here. So I want to thank you for joining us, and again, feel free to stay here if you have the time and it feels restorative for you. But hopefully these are just a few postures that will be really helpful for you just to take breaks throughout the day and get your body and blood flow going after lots of sitting and hunching over. So thanks for being here. Great to meet you guys. Have a good day.
Thank you, Allison. A couple things before we go. Thank you for joining us, and hopefully if you're watching the recording, if you let us know, we'd love to hear what you think. Also, Thursday, we're having a high-intensity interval training Facebook Live at 11 a.m. Pacific time. So if you'll join us and Dodie, you can check out some of the other videos we've done for that. And if you want to know about these as we schedule them, and if you want more inspiration delivered to your inbox, sign up for the DTGS Weekly, and the link is in this post. Okay, thanks. To untape it.
Yeah. It doesn't matter, it does.